Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Eventful Life. Thank you guys for joining us. This is a special episode because for the first time we are live. We are coming to you live on site from the Planner Suite Live Experience 2020, which is a business conference for creatives, especially women in business because that's the majority of who we are, but it is women who are in business in the creative field. And so we are here right now, and I'm just excited to bring this to you guys for the first time live. Remember, I told you we were going to be doing some exciting things in 2020, so here we are. And so my first victim, no, I'm kidding. My first woman in business.
Don't lie, you just ambushed me, don't lie.
I totally did, and she went along with it. How about that, right? That's precious for you.
Of course.
So my first woman in business, who I'm so elated to bring to you guys, her name is Jamie Kutchman Wynne, and she is the owner of Marigold Grey. And so I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her business, but she is such a dynamic woman in business, and she actually just came off the stage just now speaking about how to create and innovate instead of duplicating in your business, which I know we all can relate to. So Jamie, tell us a little bit about Marigold Grey and kind of just how you got started. Like, I know you didn't wake up, and be like, okay, today I have nothing else to do but start a business.
Right? No, actually, I kind of got my start in a rather unconventional way. So I first had the idea for my business way back in 2012 when I was planning my own wedding. And I knew that I needed to have, I wanted to do welcome gifts, very customized welcome gifts for all of our guests who were coming in from out of town. And I had a terrible time sourcing really unique, locally sourced Virginia items for these gift bags. And so that thought kind of like planted in my head. And then I had given everything to the planner, and they accidentally delivered the gifts to the wrong hotel. So I know, right? So some of our guests got the gifts, and then other guests that were got the bags were at the wrong hotels. They didn't get any gifts. So everyone's at the wedding talking about these nice gift bags and why did I get one and why didn't I get one? And so it ended up creating this really embarrassing experience. And I thought to myself at the moment, wait a minute, why can I outsource everything else for a wedding, but I can't outsource my gifting from start to finish?
That's good.
Yeah, so just like the thought planted in my head at that moment. But I had a really lucrative corporate career. I did medical and surgical sales and had been doing it for, at that time, about 9 years.
Wow.
And it was the type of job that you just would not easily be able to give up. I felt really guilty, irresponsible giving it up. I also truthfully didn't feel like I was a business owner. I thought of business owners as these like unicorn type of figures and I wasn't one of them. And so I guess
Which we kind of are.
Yeah, so I just put the thought in the back of my mind and didn't do anything with it. And then 2 years later, I was increasingly getting more frustrated at my job. And long story short, don't recommend doing this, but I quit on a conference call with my boss and my boss's boss. And I said, I resign very spontaneously. Wow. And then instead of sending out resumes to competitor companies and staying in the industry, I just said, you know what, this is it. I quit. I have no job. Wow. I have this idea. I have some savings.
Talk about taking a risk, right?
I have some savings that I have saved from my career, and I'm just going to go for it. And having that pressure under me, knowing that I didn't have a job and I had to make this work, it motivated me every single day to get up, sometimes at like 5 a.m. and I'd be in my office until 2 a.m. Push me.
That's awesome.
For sure.
Wow. That's awesome. I want to stop right there because a couple of things that you said really just resonated with me, and I know it will with you all as well. The fact that you literally, said, okay, today's the day. Like, I'm done with, kind of not being happy with where I am right now, or just, this company, this business, and maybe some of you have experienced that too. Like, I just don't feel on fire for what I'm doing right now. There's got to be more for me. I think that is, I think it's powerful, because you didn't allow your fear, right? Because there could have been two options, right? Like fear, like, okay, well, no, you don't need to do that. That's not responsible. But you allowed the fear to push you forward instead of hold you back.
Yes.
So I really, really love that. And then the second thing that you said that I want to point out to you guys is that you saw, it's like you saw a challenge or a problem, and so your business ended up being the solution
Correct.
to that problem.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
So find a problem and fix it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, that was an easy way for us to kind of enter the market space and grow fairly quickly because the service was needed, thank goodness. I mean, I had a hunch that it was needed, and that ended up being the case. And so it gave us kind of like a leg up because we were really one of the first to be doing gifting in this manner. So that really helped us. But, you know, what I want to also say regarding like quitting a job versus not quitting a job is that don't feel badly if you're doing a side hustle.
Right.
For me, my situation, I quit very spontaneously. I actually don't recommend doing it that way.
Right.
But I'm very risk averse, so if it hadn't happened that way, I wouldn't be standing here today. I just hands down would not. It's just like something like that came from up above. I don't know, but I wouldn't have had the bravery to do that. But those of you who are, you know, doing side hustles, take that money and use that you're earning in your current job to fund this dream of yours in a very responsible way. It will also help you be choosier about who your clients are right up front. Whereas if you quit your job really fast and then you're like, oh shoot, I need to pay the bills, you're going to be taking anything and everything. And those,
out of desperation.
And those jobs might not be ideally for you and how you want to build your portfolio. So if you start out doing that, it's going to be really hard for you to pivot from lower end projects and jobs and clients. Let's say you want to enter the luxury market, it's going to be really hard for you to make that transition. So if you're in a side hustle, don't feel terrible about it. Don't feel ashamed. Use it for what it is to get you where you want to go, and realize that it can actually get you somewhere faster.
I love that. Absolutely, it makes sense. It absolutely does. And I like that you said don't be ashamed, right? Because sometimes we're like, oh my God, I'm not doing this full time, so people aren't going to take me seriously, right? Or they're going to think I'm not, you know, serious about what I'm trying to do. So
people who can juggle two things are actually more competent than people who can juggle one. So
so
don't feel badly about that at all.
At all, exactly.
No.
And it says a lot about you. So tell me, like, as you started moving into your business, what were some lessons that you learned like really quickly that were like, oh, okay, didn't really know about this, or wasn't really, you know, didn't expect that this would happen?
I think really just realizing that you have to know all the things, and it's just you. You have to know about accounting. You have to know about, like, you know, operations. You have to know a little bit about everything in the business. And even though those might not be your strengths, to pay attention to that, because when it's time to grow your team, those are the things that you're going to want to hire for first. Don't hire someone that's just like you. Hire someone that has the opposite abilities of you. Of
what you have.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. And so from a personal side, did you have to figure out like how to balance family, or how to deal with like, hey, I don't have a lot of time to kick it with my girlfriends anymore, or I don't have a lot of time, period?
So this is maybe controversial, I don't know, but I don't really believe that there's such thing as work-life balance when you're starting a business. It's a very let's say deliberate choice that you make, and you make it with either yourself if you're single, or you make it together with your partner if you're married. That there are going to be maybe even years where you're not able to give your full attention to that relationship, but you both decide that it's for the greater good. And those conversations just need to happen. So I would say, like, don't go into it without those conversations, because it can really do damage to your relationship. But realize that it's like work-life balance. I think it's more about stages, if you will. And there will come a time where your business will even out, and you've put in the time, and then you have a team.
To do as much,
or you do it faster because you've gotten better at it, you know? And you have a team, and you can let go of some control. But in the beginning, it is rough and tumble. It's if you're going at it full time, and that's the source of your livelihood. you better be prepared to put it all out there.
That's right.
On the line.
That's right.
And know that that's normal.
Yeah.
Know that that hustle is expected, and know that it's normal. You also just have to be more intentional about the way that you spend your time with your family.
I agree.
And your friends. You really have to be intentional to carve it out. Otherwise, it's just going to get your time. Your business is just going to suck you dry.
Right. I so agree. And I'm like a huge proponent of calendaring. You know, it's like I always say, if it's not on the calendar, then it didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Jamie, tell a little bit about like where your business is now. How would they, you know, if they wanted to reach out and wanted to get in contact with you, how would they be able to find you? And just kind of where you see Marigold Grey going like in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're, like I said before, an artisan gifting business. We specialize in custom gift design for wedding welcome gifts, corporate event gifts, and also like ongoing client appreciation. We're located just outside the DC area, but we actually ship nationwide, and we just recently started shipping internationally to select countries. You can find us on Instagram at Marigold Grey, so MARIGOLDGREY is our handle, and then our website is marigoldgrey.com. The future of the company is to just continue to grow the way that we're growing right now, and also put a lot more emphasis on the e-commerce side of the business to match the custom side of the business. Nice. So look for our e-commerce collection to increase over the next.
And you ship everywhere, correct?
We do.
Yes.
We do.
So no matter where you're located.
Yes, internationally limited right now, just due to customs regulations and things like that. But anywhere in the U.S. we're shipping now and have been for years.
Awesome.
Bulk shipments and one at a time. So even bulk shipments for events, we ship cross country all the time.
Awesome. So if I asked you what is one piece of advice that you would kind of leave, let's say that you wish someone had told you, that you can leave with some of our women in business out there who are like, okay, I'm trying to get myself started, or maybe you are started, but you feel like you continue to be challenged. What's one piece of advice you would leave with them?
I would say that, cliche, Rome wasn't created in a day. And so don't expect you to be in a position where somebody else is and they've already been at it for 5 to 10 years. It's just not possible. Literally do your best every day, and those milestones will happen, and just don't compare yourself to others, because the journey will not be the same no matter what. I would also say test the market before you enter it and do some research. Don't necessarily go all in and spend too much on hunches that you haven't tested. I did a little bit of that too soon and ended up losing some money in the beginning in the way that our website was structured, and I regret that. I learned a huge lesson from it.
But you learned from it, though.
I did learn from it. Expensive lesson.
Right. Sometimes lessons are more expensive than others.
But find out who your ideal client is as early on as you can, and figure out how to serve them and speak to them and what they want. Because what you think that they want might not really be what they want. Right. You might undershoot the market, you might overshoot it. So just be real careful about what you invest in the beginning until you've really tested it, and it's okay to go slow to do that.
That's good. That is good. Well, Jamie, you have dropped so many nuggets here today. Like, it's so many gems. I don't even think I could recap them all if I tried. But so hopefully you'll go back and replay this so that you can really listen to it, because it was a lot of good business information about how to get started, some of the things that she encountered. But the one thing I would say that really resonated with me about everything that you just said is it is okay to go at your own pace.
For sure.
Don't look at what other people are doing, because you have to be comfortable with the pace that you're going at. And then the other part was being okay with failure, because you mentioned a couple of times that she was very honest and transparent about some things that maybe you would have done differently.
Yeah, our business model that we had day one is nothing like the business model we had today. I had to totally pull the plug on it. It wasn't working. Right. And I had spent a ton of money on developing this high-tech website, and our market was actually higher than what I thought it was. I underestimated the clientele that we would have, and I lost a lot of money doing it. Learned a lesson.
Right.
But it was big mistake and a failure early on. So now I'm a lot more methodical and calculated in the way that when I choose to make moves and I choose to make investments, it's a lot more based on data,
research.
Yeah, which is hard to have when you begin because you don't really have a lot.
Right.
But there are ways to test the market in little ways without having to go so big in the beginning. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of The Eventful Life. I hope that you enjoyed it thoroughly as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Remember, you can have it all, but it has to be on your terms and your time. All right, guys, take care and see you next time.